The Kansas City Chiefs are gearing up to take on the Dirty Donkeys, and I have a list of 5 things worth watching in this game that, look, it's not going to make anything more exciting because I think that this game is about as exciting as it's going to get during the regular season this year, but there's always things worth rooting for in the game, inside the game. There are always things worth watching as this takes place. And the number one thing here is something that I have to talk about because I have seen so many people losing their mind this week. So many people that are going off of the deep end on this team that I think are losing perspective. The number one thing here to watch is obviously the division. The Chiefs cannot win the division today, but they can get really close to losing it. The Chiefs have won the division for 9 consecutive seasons, and prior to this 9-season run, the record for the AFC West was 5 consecutive seasons, shared by the Broncos in 2011 through 2015, and the Raiders in 72 through 76. But that run by the Raiders was more impressive because it was separated by a 1-season division win by the Kansas City Chiefs in 1971. That separated the 5-year run from a 4-year run, which ended out the 60s. That's why the Raiders of the 60s, 70s seem so dominant in your mind, why you remember that team, which is to say the Chiefs one-upped that run from the Raiders, just in the division. Not to talk about the playoffs, not to talk about the Super Bowls, not to talk about the rings. Just in the division. When I was growing up, the AFC West was seen as the Raiders' division. I didn't start watching football until 1995-ish, and so 20-plus years after that run, people still talked about the AFC West as the Raiders' division. Is that going to be the Kansas City Chiefs for the next 20 years? In the 2040s, will they be talking about this Kansas City Chiefs team? Almost undoubtedly. So savor it. Savor it. We are in that type of run. The NFL record for division titles is obviously the Patriots with 11. Number 2 is the run the Chiefs are currently on. I do not say this to say, hey, it's time to give the division back. I don't say this because, hey, it's gotten boring. I don't say this because we should not want to win the division. I say this because this is nearly without precedence. Except for those Patriots, this is without precedence. And the NFL punishes victories. It's not like the NBA where there is a lottery for the draft, right? You have to, some ball gets picked out and it has your team's logo on it, and all of a sudden that is your pick. It's not how the NFL works. If you win, you get pushed back in the order. It's not Major League Baseball where there's 374 rounds because you have all sorts of divisions of baseball to fill up. No, there's 53 guys. So every one of them matters. So when you win a Super Bowl and you're picking 32nd in every round, it punishes the team. When you get to the Super Bowl and you end up picking 31st in each round, it punishes the team. The Chiefs have gone through that for 9 years, and they're still here. So do not take this for granted. The number 2 thing worth watching here, Isaiah Pacheco is listed as out again. This is going to bug me if I don't correct it. Listed as out again. Did you know that Brashard... So the talk around this running back room has been, hey, why are we seeing Isaiah Pacheco all the time? Let's get a little bit more Brashard Smith in there. Everybody wants to see the rookie get the ball a little bit more. Did you know that he has 36% of the carries that Isaiah Pacheco has this season? 36. I'm not talking touches. I'm talking carries, handoffs from Patrick Mahomes. 1/3 of the carries that Isaiah Pacheco has, but they're in nowhere near the same stratosphere with rushing yards. Why? The problem is that Brashard Smith has a 2.9, yards per carry versus Pacheco's 4.2. Now, there's been a lot of things with Brashard Smith getting the ball in very circuitous means, right? Very late in games, they know you're trying to run the clock down, just put everybody at the line of scrimmage, and the rookie gets the football, there's nowhere to go. Still, on normal plays, Brashard Smith's vision and instincts are way better than what we usually see from Pop. He also has 3 more receptions than Isaiah Pacheco, despite way fewer snaps. 3 more receptions for 80-ish more yards on those 3 receptions. Will we see more Brashard Smith? Because I think everyone wants to know if the running back position is Brashard Smith's to lose next season. If the Chiefs can figure out what it is that they have in Brashard Smith at the tail end of this year, it will go a long way towards letting Brett Veach know exactly what he has to do in the draft, because I think he's going to draft a running back. Where will he have to draft one? Will he have to spend a 3rd-round pick on one of the premier names in this class? Ahmad Hardy, by the way, I'm just going to put this out there. I know there's a lot of never Missourians around this channel. Ahmad Hardy, I'm not saying he's Barry Sanders, okay? Do not put that on me. We are never going to see another Barry Sanders. It's very, very unlikely. But the amount of times that Ahmad Hardy finds himself in a pile and no one remembers to tackle him, that is Barry Sanders-like. That is very reminiscent of Barry Sanders. Doesn't have the speed, doesn't have the change of direction, doesn't have the poop your pants factor, none of those things. But that part of Ahmad Hardy's game is very impressive. Another thing to watch in this game, can the Chiefs get home with 4? Can the Kansas City Chiefs get pressure with 4 down linemen? Can they get sacks? The big thing that Bo Nix seems to struggle with is when 4 down linemen can get pressure and 7 guys are back in coverage. Only one Denver Broncos offensive lineman is credited, starting lineman is credited as having allowed a sack this year. Quinn Miners, who has given up 2. Only one Denver Broncos starting offensive lineman is credited with giving up a sack this season by PFF. George Karlaftis leads the Kansas City Chiefs in sacks with 5. 5 sacks, 9 games. Chris Jones is second on the Chiefs in sacks, but so too is Charles Omenihu. So too is Drue Tranquill. All 3 of those guys are tied with 2 sacks through 9 games. It's a good thing we gave Chris Jones so very much money. Not a single Kansas City Chief is on pace to hit double-digit sacks this season. Karlaftis is pacing for 9.4, which rounds down to 9. Charles Omenihu, Chris Jones, and Drue Tranquill are pacing for a whopping 4 sacks this year. If they can get some push, Bo Nix has thrown 8 interceptions through 10 games. So he is apt to put one out there. He's going to let one hang. He's going to put one in a questionable position. And the Kansas City Chiefs have done a decent job of picking off passes so far this season, especially if they... So there's always those surprise not interceptions that happen in the NFL when a quarterback makes a throw that is so ill-advised that a defensive player just was not expecting it. The Chiefs have done a pretty good job cashing those in this year, and it could be that Bo Nix hangs one of those up there in this game. Number 4, Patrick Mahomes is pacing for 4,400 yards and 32 touchdowns this season. A very good season, on pace for a very good season, but maybe not a very Mahomesian season. Patrick Mahomes does always come up biggest in the most important moments, and it might not get more important this regular season than this game right here. So, what do I mean by comes up the biggest in the biggest moments? Well, the Denver Broncos are probably the AFC West opponent that I hate the most. The left-handed pass, that was against Denver. The flip to McKinnon, Denver. Mahomes' first start against the Dirty Donkeys. Patrick, let's have one more for old time's sake. And the final thing worth watching in this game, if you ask me, what wide receiver core do we see? And which version of them? Worthy was a full participant on Friday, but he did miss time this week. And he's been a little bit hot or cold this season. Rashee Rice hasn't been hot or cold as much as he's been binary. He's here or he's not. Tyquan Thornton is maybe on vacation. No one knows. We haven't heard from him. But he was huge earlier this year. Hollywood Brown is the WD-40 to this offense. Or he's just not there. When he is on this season, the offense just moves a whole lot better. But he has not been there on occasion. Juju Smith-Schuster is either tough guy, possession receiver extraordinaire, or just a guy. If these guys all show up at the same time, the Chiefs can run through any defense in this league. The wide receiver that Juju Smith has been this year at times, the wide receiver that Hollywood Brown has been this year at times, the types of things that Tyquan Thornton has done this year, Rashee Rice being the Rashee Rice we know and love, Xavier Worthy tapping into what it is that he can do once in a while, every game. That offense is unstoppable. Can this be the game where they start to put that together and end up going on a run that lasts through the playoffs? I do not know, but I certainly hope so. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.